So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to another episode of Is It That Bad, where we take a look at an album. That in this case, an album that dropped today, Friday, but there's
Mm.
already reviews out since the last few days, and we are talking about the brand new 6 Feet Under record. I'm gonna show the artwork here. So here we have 6 Feet Under with the artwork "Killing for Revenge," and at least I can say it's a
Mm.
pretty good artwork. What do you think, Sheely and Robert?
Oh my gosh, I think that's
Oh my
perfect. That's like
God.
that's like for child. That's children's coloring in book right there, isn't
That looks like it looks like a knockoff of a Cannibal Corpse album cover.
it? Actually, the artwork does, yeah, and similar in vein.
Yeah, I think it's made by an artist that has made like covers for both albums, and actually, for
Yeah,
this
Vince Locke.
album,
That's the same guy who does all of Cannibal Corpse's stuff, yeah?
Yeah,
yeah,
Lux or something down the bottom there. Oh yeah.
yeah. So for this one, I actually interviewed Jake Owen, the guitar player for the band. I actually interviewed him, and we talked about this album and the album before. So I've been listening. I've listened to this album a few weeks now, so I've heard of it. So I got an advantage from you guys because I did listen to it. So for this episode, I'm joined by I have Sheely from Live Listening Rest. So Sheely, how are you, man?
I'm very good, and thank you once again for having me on this lovely and prestigious event. I love doing these. Is it that bad? It's
Yeah.
always fun.
And for the first time on the channel, we had Robert, and he has a channel to call
Yeah,
Trolling
Trolling in Paradise.
Trolling in Paradise, and Matthew from Diceable Reviews. He said he was going to join, but apparently he must be looking at a Bruce Dickinson Tattooed Millionaire video.
That or is 6 feet under. I don't know, one of the two.
No, hopefully
Oh,
not.
no.
Hopefully not. If not, like he will. Maybe he'll join us, and then we'll make him do all the rounds at once. So
Send in the vibes out, Matthew. Come join this episode.
come join this episode.
So he shows up. Yeah.
So you guys know the drill. We have the 3 rounds. The first
Yeah.
round, we talk about our first impressions of when we listen to this album. On the second round, we talk about 3, or I think we can pick 4 songs on this one that we think are not the best and say why. And on the final round, we give our final thoughts. We give it a rating: thumbs up, thumbs sideways, or thumbs down. And starting off, since like Sheely has been like, we'll do Sheely, then Robert, then me. And if Matthew shows up, he'll go first. So Sheely, your first impressions of Killing for Revenge by 6 Feet Under.
Oh my gosh, I'm the first one off the rank this time. All the pressure's on me. Look, as far as 6 Feet Under go, I'm not extremely familiar with their music. This when you reached out to me and you told me, "Hey, we should do this episode," I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." I'm kind of aware of the band. I hadn't listened to a lot of their music, but I found Chris Barnes is the vocalist, of course, or ex-vocalist, I should say, to Cannibal Corpse back in the early '90s. Massive albums from their early days, and everyone remembers Hammer Smash Face and I Come Blood and all that stuff. But as far as like death metal and me go, it kind of ranks a little bit low in my tier list. I mean, there's other ones that I prefer to listen to, such as, I don't know, heavy metal, thrash metal, groove metal, new metal, stoner metal, sludge metal, new wave of British heavy metal, progressive metal, blah 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 blah, black metals, all this stuff, and then
And lounge.
yeah, all the way down to like kawaii metal, Viking metal, pirate metal, folk metal, drive-through metal, progressive alien, deathcore, and then it's kind of like death metal is somewhere around there. I don't
What
know.
the fuck is drive-through metal?
What?
I'm glad you asked, because that is
Yeah.
Max Sabbath. They do covers of Black Sabbath songs.
Oh, drive-through. Okay, that makes sense.
They all dress up like the McDonald's things, but they all do Black Sabbath covers in the tunes of McDonald's songs. So,
Oh yeah, no, I know now what you mean. So
I've heard about them.
yeah, they're really funny. But look, as far as like death metal goes, it was not exactly high up. I'm not rubbish in the genre. I think it's a good genre. Don't keyboard warriors, just hold your for a minute. It's not a bad genre. It's certainly a style I don't go to often. But usually when I'm listening to anything death metal, it's more blended with a lot of other styles. Bands that I can think of off the bat are like Death, which is more progressive, technical kind of areas, or Between the Buried and Me, again, a bit more progressive. So going to this one, which from what I can understand is a bit more classical. It
Yeah, it's
was
more that 90s sound of death metal. Because
yeah. Like I mean,
you have the death metal from Tampa, from Florida, and that's
yes,
almost the sound. And the other one was like, I like more of the Gothenburg, where it's the melodic death metal, the
mm,
In Flames, the Dark Tranquility, those
yeah.
type of bands. I like that style more.
Yeah. See, that's the melodic side of it coming
Yeah,
into play, and I'm not entirely sure where Cannibal Corpse sits into it. Sorry, I'm a bit oblivious to the death metal genre, but
that's more the
that's
90s pure like classic
yeah,
old school
just
death metal.
yeah, and that's like I guess what I'm saying is like it's not a genre that I've often gone into. So going into listening to this album, I kind of felt like I was coming in clean. Didn't know what to really expect. I had some ideas, but I'm listening to the album anyway. And my first initial thoughts were, it's all right. It's certainly got some riffs there that aren't too bad, but I don't want to give too much away, of course.
No, of
So
course.
that
So
that would, I guess, my initial thoughts are, yeah, okay, this ain't too bad. I was definitely expecting something different.
okay. So what about you, Robert?
Well, I had to listen to it yesterday afternoon on YouTube, and well, it was a grueling listen. Having heard the two singles, "Know Nothing Great" and "Ascension," and when things only got worse when I got to the end there with "Hair of the Dog," which is the
Uh,
Nazareth cover.
mm.
Oh my God, did I cringe when that cover was on?
Yeah,
It was so bad. It was torture me to listen to that. Huh?
yeah, no, yeah, I prefer the Guns N' Roses version. I think they did one for that one, right?
I
Did they?
love Guns N' Roses
Yeah,
Oh
cover too.
yeah.
for the
But I want
spaghetti
to hear
incident.
Axel do a Nazareth song though. I'd rather listen to
Yeah.
Nazareth version.
Oh,
No,
of
I think
course.
I think everyone. So Robert, so it was like a torture for you the first listen. Uh, so
Seems
yeah,
fitting.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's fitting with the image. So I guess that
Yeah.
leaves me. So my first
Oh yeah.
impression, I actually had to listen to this album a few weeks ago because like I said, I interviewed Jake Owen, and we talked about this album. And apparently on this album, he joined 6 Feet Under back in 2020 when they did Nightmares of the Decomposed, which is an album that we covered on this series, and we all thought it was terrible album. And he actually said on that interview that for that album he came in late and didn't. There was not a whole time to prepare, so he kind of like said that it was bad in a way. He didn't say it, but I kind of implied it.
Ugh.
But for this one, he wrote more of the album. So I think 70% of the album was written by Jake Owen. And
Mm.
since I listened to Nightmare of the Decomposed and this one, I think on this one, at least like with the guitars on some songs, I think there's some decent solos on some songs,
Yeah.
which I think are not bad because the one before this is something that you couldn't listen to. But again, the elephant in the room is Chris Barnes and his atrocious vocals. I don't know who tells this guy that he needs to sound like brr, 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 brr. Like sometimes I can't even understand anything that he's saying. And there's some parts on some songs that like the music is so loud that he sounds like buried in the mix, and you hear like a brr, 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 brr.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And you're like, what? Like what? I could sing in that band. So it's and and they're signed to Metal Blade Records. Like they're in a big label. Like I'm wondering who's producing this and who. Like maybe his vocals are not what they used to when he was in Cannibal Corpse, but someone should tell him, I think we can record this shit better. So yeah, those were
Well, a big one here. There's the reason why Chris Barnes sounds so bad in there.
is it
He
marijuana?
actually was smoking a lot. He actually quit smoking a year and a half ago. So, but his voice is absolutely damaged from the marijuana.
Nice.
Kids, don't do drugs. That's a PSA for you.
Well, but look, let's look at this, analyze it. Cypress Hill
Mm.
vocal and Snoop Dogg smoke a lot of weed, and they can still like rap.
Yeah, but can you imagine them doing death growls like?
Yeah, well, maybe Chris Barnes got the bad shit, the
Oh
bad
yeah,
batch. Like
he
they
got the
didn't give
chop
him the
shop
good
stuff.
shit. They gave him the bad batch, and I'm like, oh, it's the bad marijuana batch. I can't do shit about it. Fuck it. So yeah, I don't know,
Oh my gosh.
but yeah, so that's interesting. So yeah, I think we all can say those are our first impressions.
Mhm.
So Chile, going to round two, which songs do you think are the worst and why?
All right. Yeah. So I'm definitely going to start with Hostility Against Mankind. I thought was just this really weak track. It's very slow paced and it feels ostensively audible as well in that. I don't know. When you're going through these songs, no, I'll mention that a bit later. It's just this really weird slow paced track. I don't think slow and pace come in the same sentence as in a 6 feet under kind of record. Although that being said, they have done some tracks before, but they made it work. Somehow on this one, it doesn't really. So I guess I hear the vocals, which we're all talking about here, and I guess I want to mention that quickly because I didn't exactly mind the vocals a little bit, but again, I don't know a lot of the history of it. I was briefly going through some of the couple of years ago records, like, holy crap, this is terrible. Especially going from all the way back to Cannibal Corpse. It's like, how the hell did we get from here to there with the vocal effects with the vocals? And then you listen to a slow track where you can really hear his vocal abilities on it or lack of, and it's like, oh man, this is really bad. You know, it's still like it's all right, but they still felt like a belt sander going through an amp. It's just really, it's so bad. The other song I felt another one was Neanderthal, like another one. This is
Oh my god.
Neanderthal. This must be the ballad in the band camp, or at least by their standard. It's again another slow paced tune. Not only is it slow this time, it's a really long song. It's a 5 minute track,
Yeah,
and I
that's
just
too long. Yeah.
yeah, it's too long. I
That's
didn't think the band,
album.
yeah, I didn't think the band had it in them to do a 5 minute track. But yeah, then again, I
I
guess
think
they
it works when you shout Neanderthal like 400 fucking times in a song.
Yeah, Neanderthal. Hey, is he trying to become the Neanderthal?
It's a concept. It's a concept song,
It's a
Chile,
concept.
about you becoming Fred Flintstone.
Ah, I see. Yeah, yabba dabba don't. Yeah. So, but yeah, then again, like I feel like they kind of accidentally set their metronome to a lower level, and they might have thought it was like a golf score. Like, yeah, we're gonna win. No, set it back up to like 140, please. This Neanderthal stuff. Nope, give it a miss. But of course, if we're going to be talking about bad songs, we can't miss Hair of the Dog, a fucking
yeah.
horrendous song.
Brilliant.
I think this Hair of the Dog song gives Limp Bizkit's Behind Blue Eyes a run for its money for the worst cover I've ever heard.
Whoa.
I would
Yeah.
prefer Limp Bizkit any day of the week to this song.
And this must be a reoccurring theme because I noticed when I was playing through some of the other songs by them, and I found a cover of their what do they do? AC/DC
TNT.
TNT. Yeah, that was it. And I'm like, what the hell are they doing covering this Aussie
They were
rock
like,
classic?
TNT.
Yeah. I'm like,
Dynamite.
okay. Yeah, exactly. Like it's beginning, it's all right. Yeah, it's got that heavier riff. Dun 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 dun. Oi, oi. Oh, I think I've done a better vocal than he has.
You know
wait,
what?
hang on.
Because you stayed away,
Oi.
Chile. You stayed away. You smoked the good shit.
Oh, of course. Yep. Inhale, never exhale. Otherwise, you're losing 50% of it. But
Yeah.
Hair of the Dog. Yeah. I mean, like I was listening to it. I found it because I didn't listen to the full album on first playthrough. Then I listened to it again. I'm going, oh my God, Hair of the Dog. Why does that sound familiar? And I press and play. Holy crap, this is Nazareth. Where's the 6 degrees of separation from, this classic new wave of British heavy metal to
And there's a
death
fucking
metal?
cowbell on the song.
Needs more cowbell. Needs less vocals, please. So it's a horrendous cover. It's a good song, but
But if you
like
think about it, if you look at it through a funny a funny thing. It's actually a hilarious cover.
I get that the band are probably trying to go for that angle, like yeah, we did a cover of this song in our shitty way.
If it
But
if it
no.
had been like Green Jello, green, I would have
Ah.
said, okay, they're making fun. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of get the feeling that they're actually being serious, and that's the thing. I can't.
No, they're serious. I interviewed
Yeah.
the guitar player, and he told me, because I asked him about that cover, and he said, "Oh, like Chris loves that cover, and he went to do it." And I almost tried to say in the interview, like, why?
Ugh. Yeah, please leave that one on the cutting room
But
floor
I
for
tried to
future
control
reference.
myself. Like, why would you?
Yeah,
Why would you do that to that song?
yeah. You've really butchered a song there, and thank you for that. I mean, out of the cover of all those heads on there, you would see Nazareth Band right there. Yeah. Thank you for that cover. I never knew I didn't want. So, yeah, those are my picks. Those are
Yeah.
my picks.
So, Robert, what about you? Which songs did you pick and why?
First pick is going to be "Know Nothing Ain't Great," which was the leadoff single. And yeah, there was a lyric video for that one. And
Oh, thank fuck for that.
obviously it was
So you could sing along.
Yeah.
and but the vocals are atrocious on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At least
and
there's no
also-
pig squealing on this album, thankfully.
Oh yeah, they told him. I
Noticed.
think they told him no pig squeals.
Oh, what a shame.
What? And the second song I'm gonna pick is "When the Moon Goes Down in Blood." Yeah. Which obviously kind of makes me think a lot about The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, which came out last year from the Nintendo Switch. You know, like when the glow of the blood-stained moon shines upon the land, the aimless spirits of slain monsters return to flesh. The world is threatened once again.
Is that the video game or the song?
I'm just doing a quote from the video game.
Oh
Oh my
okay.
gosh. I thought that was the lyric.
It's it's basically that voice you hear constantly and sometimes in on that video game. I had to bring it up.
Hmm.
And the
Hmm.
last pick is obviously the cover of Hair of the Dog. Oh my god, is it bad?
Bad. It's
Yeah.
so bad.
So are the people in Nazareth still alive? Because I would fucking sue them.
There's only one surviving original member now. That's Pete Agnew, the bassist.
And he
we-
probably dies when he
you
listens
guys-
to this cover.
But there's Daryl Sweet passed away in 1999, and in 2022 we lost both Manny Charlton, the original guitarist, and Dan McCafferty, the original frontman.
The good thing
Ah.
about them dying in 2022 is that they were saved from listening to this cover.
He
But
said
they're
it,
probably-
people. He
they're
said
probably
Remember
it.
Pete Agnew?
Yeah,
He's
they're-
had the
Chili.
He's the only surviving one left. Yeah.
the members from Nazareth they're in their grave, like no, no, please.
Dan McCafferty is wrong on his grave. Yeah.
like please, what are you doing to my song? Please make it stop.
I'm already 6 feet under. I don't need the cover of it.
Yeah, he's like, please put me 12 feet under.
Yeah,
Please.
12 feet under.
So
Oh
I
my
don't-
god.
so I don't listen to this fucking shit. So yeah, so I think that that leaves me. So
Hmm.
I think Know Nothing Ain't Great, it's bad. And what's funny about that song is the lyrics, because they're basically they're mad that people were harsh to their 2020 record. So when I talk to
Aw.
Jake, it's all about telling like
Whoa.
critics don't know anything, and I'm like, and I told him,
Yeah.
I'm a critic. So I guess I'm like, no, nothing ain't great. So it's all about
Yeah.
He roasted all these critics, including the Trolls of Metal, who trolled that last album. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, he
Yeah.
didn't know that I had that. I wanted to tell him, I'm going to review the new album, but I'm like, what if he asked me like, what's it gonna be? Oh, it's a series. It's called Is It That Bad? And
If
was
he sees
like,
it, he's probably gonna come after us.
No, I actually, yeah, he was a cool guy. But actually, there's a part on the guitar, No Nothing Great, which I think is not that bad. But yeah,
Yeah, I liked
but
it.
the song is it's not great. The second one I pick is Neanderthal, just because it
Oh, thank
reminds me.
God I
There's
didn't
a
pick that.
yeah, Shili, there's a song on the previous album that it was called Migraine. And it was the same thing. He's shouting migraine 400 fucking times, and I got me a migraine. And on this one, I just started like I just reimagined the process. Like Chris Barnes comes into the recording studio and he's got me got idea for a song. And it's like, what is the idea for a song? It's called The Underfall. It's about being a Cro-Magnon man. And people
It
will be
wouldn't
like,
surprise me.
Will
I
be
feel like he just watched the beginning of Space Odyssey 2001 and that was it. Like, I got an idea.
he'll be like death metal good, clean singing bad. He would be something like that. And the song it's like almost 5 minutes. And I'm like, dear God, why? Like this could have been a 2-minute track, like
Mm.
the Underfall. And he keeps again and again. It's like maybe he doesn't maybe he doesn't know how to write lyrics, and like he's writing maybe like the point of view of the Neanderthal writing a song. So he would just say Neanderthal because that's basically what it is. So yeah.
It's like that never go full retard moment, you know? Like,
Oh yeah, and obviously the hair of the dog, like cover, it's one of the worst covers.
what? You don't like Hair of the Dog? Are you
No,
sure?
I'm sure, but I'm picking another one that no one has picked, and it's called Compulsive. And that was another one that was like
Compulsive.
compulsive. I'm compulsive. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, have you if you check the album titles, like a lot of their songs, they have a lot of that is only. I think they like those one-word song titles. Like you have
Mm.
Ascension, Compulsive, and Neanderthal, because basically he's like, this is the song. I'm just going to shout the name of the song 500 fucking times, and that's it.
I feel like the lyrics were written because of
There was a song called
ChatGPT.
Drink Blood, Get High.
Yes.
That's what happens,
my
people,
God.
when you smoke the bad batch, you know?
I feel like they got the lyrics from ChatGPT. Like, if death metal was a song using the word ascension, bang, there we go, 6 feet under.
There you
You know?
go. So yeah, we picked so now we're going to round three, people. And on this round, we're going to give our final thoughts. Maybe we're gonna say like there's some redeeming points to this album, and we're gonna vote thumbs up, thumbs sideways, or thumbs down. So Shili, your final thoughts on Killing for Revenge.
Killing for Revenge. As much as I have poo-pooed the death metal genre in the last couple of minutes that you've been listening to this episode, I didn't entirely hate this record. I thought there were some really solid riffs on here, and I guess it helps because I'm a groove junkie, right? I'm listening to when I listen to music, I usually put the vocals in the background in my mind. I'm listening to those hooks, I'm listening to the solos, the drum beats, the bass, and then it's like the vocals come to my mind, which is very helpful when you're listening to anything by Chris Barnes, I guess. And
So
you know,
you're saying that you would have preferred this album if it was purely instrumental?
yes, if it was purely instrumental, I'd be like, this is a good album. But could you imagine death metal instrumentals? Or actually, here's a better question: could you imagine 6 Feet Under doing an MTV Unplugged performance of this album?
I don't want to.
It would be the guy like going like.
Yeah. All right, next up, we're gonna play this grandpa guitar. Ring, ring, ring. Yeah. Yeah, that's something we really don't need to hear. I thought Know Nothing Ingrate was good. I knew, again, death metal for me, it feels like a genre that I need subtitles to listen to because it is such. Especially when it comes to this whole album, like the whole record, I could not understand 99.9% of the lyrics, but I knew Know Nothing Ingrate was definitely aimed at critics. And I'm listening to it going, yeah, I get that. I get that he hates. He has a lot of enemies out there. He has started. He has started a lot of shit with a lot of musicians. So, you know, I get it. He's a very vocal person. He's a very opinionated asshole. But whatever, he's our asshole, right? So yeah, like at the end of the day, I don't mind this song. I think who was the name of the guitarist, sorry, that joined the band back in a couple years ago?
Jake Owen.
Jake Owen. I think Jake Owen's done some really solid riffs on here. I'm enjoying what I'm listening to as far as the instrumental section parts of this go. You know, for me, when I was going through the first 4 tracks, I thought, yeah, this is some pretty solid stuff. It's when they keep it short and simple that it has my attention. Anything that goes over or slow, it's not for me. You know, and they don't do it too much on here. It's a 46-minute album, which, you know, I'm sure they could have cut 3 tracks off and made it more intriguing. But I didn't mind it. But death metal has always been this one-dimensional kind of genre. Like you're staying on this level and that's it. You can barely do anything different. And this album is very one-dimensional. It doesn't have a lot of variance on it. You know,
a lot of repetition, yeah.
Extreme repetition, except for the cover and the other 2 songs that I mentioned, Hostility Against Mankind and Neanderthal. It's like, oh my God, the slow songs, you know, and a cover. Besides that, every song is like a copy-paste job in my ears. That all being said, I still give it a pass. I don't mind it. It's not horrendous. I think it's okay. I think from my limited capacity of understanding Chris's vocal sound a little better compared to his last album here. It's still not great, but I think it's a little bit better. So, yeah, it's a pass. I will give it a pass.
Okay, so what about you, Robert? Your final thoughts and rating?
Unfortunately, it's going to be a thumbs down. It's bad.
It's bad.
Yeah, it's really sucked. That cover hair of the dog is an absolutely atrocious dumpster fire. And some of the other songs like Neanderthal, which you guys were bringing up earlier, that one sucks. That's the worst. Then you got obviously that first track is really stupid, and then you got Ascension, which that was pretty torturous too. Yeah. And yeah, thumbs down. It's bad. I'll probably never listen to that again.
Okay, don't hold back, man. So for me, you know, I think this is it's a little bit better than Nightmares of the Decomposed, but it's still shit. You know, it's not a good it's not a good album, and I can't. It's. I think that if the vocals were a little bit better, I think I would give this a pass because there's some good guitar solos by Jake Owen. I interviewed him, and I gotta tell him, I thought there's some good parts that they're good and solid, even though they're not. It's nothing like super inventive. It's like it's something that's being done to death, but he does it well. But I don't think it's. I just can't. Chris Barnes, just his vocal delivery and some of the lyrics here are so bad that I do give it a thumbs down.
Oh no!
But if I would rate this from a 1 to 10, this would be like a 1.5, and almost like to 2, and Nightmares of the Decomposed would be a 0. So, but yeah, but it's still bad. I can't understand how someone can put these vocals down on tape and think, yeah, we have the vocals down for this album. Like someone, I know.
It sounds like a rough cut.
Yeah, it sounds like it's like, are we doing more than one take? No, one take. One take.
They're doing the in utero style of approach. You know, all right, you get 3 takes to do this. I'll do it in 1. You know.
But with no Steve Albini.
Rest in peace, man.
Yeah, we just lost him a few days ago.
Yeah.
Also, go check out his band as well.
He's putting out an album next week. Yeah.
Sadly, that's the final record from his band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be the final record. So people. The album is not saved because 2 thumbs down, and the album is going straight in the trash. It is
into the wood chipper for that one.
It is actually that bad. But the only thing 6 Feet Under fan is that it's a little bit better than the last one. So hey, maybe the next one is going to be mid. because maybe it will keep. So we'll have to wait 4 more years for the new one. But obviously, when it comes out, we'll be here, hopefully,
Yeah.
to talk about it. So I want to
Yeah.
thank my panel. I'm not gonna thank Diceable Reviews like Matthew. What the fuck? Where were you, man? It would have
Thanks
been
for having me
good.
on here, Hector.
Yeah. So first of all, Robert from Trolling in Paradise. So Robert, tell the people that maybe like what do you do in your channel?
Well, I do album reviews, and since February, I've been doing like the monthly album release schedule thing, which has been kind of the monthly thing.
And I know you also you play drums because I see that you put clips of you playing drums.
I do that on obviously I'm a drummer myself. I've been playing drums since I was 14 years old. So yeah. And basically the channel on YouTube, I do album reviews, and the monthly release schedule has been the thing since February. And I've also been doing responses to in terms of the thread responses when I show off albums and stuff. Yeah. And the most recent one, I just did the 10 essential rock albums, the response to the CD guy, Jay-Z, the CD guy.
Johnny C, the CD guy.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Johnny, you have to join us for an episode of Is It That Bad? So let me know when you can be here. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks very much, Hector.
Yeah. So, and obviously we have Chili from Live Listen Erased, and of course, like he does the Live Listen Erased, and I think there's an episode that's the one that's premiering this weekend. We talked about a band from Puerto Rico, Puya, and we talked from other bands. So yeah, it's a good episode, and Puya's putting out a new record on May the 24th. So yeah, that obviously that's not gonna be in Is It That Bad, people. I actually know that they're in Puerto Rico, and like Ramon is a huge dude and he can kick my ass. So
He'll put you 6 feet under.
Yeah, he'll put me 12 feet under with the people from Nazareth. So I don't.
Yikes!
Yeah,
that's gonna be a yikes from me on that one.
Yeah. And obviously, subscribe to Live Listening Race. And if you haven't, please subscribe to The Shield Dude on a Couch. I do album reviews, I do interviews, and obviously, Is It That Bad? And the next weekend, we have an Is It That Bad for Blink 182's California. I'm joined on that one with JC Rock and Metal Reviews and Justin from Workers, because even though he plays in a thrash metal band, he loves pop punk. So that will be next weekend. So
and the beginning of June is the 25th anniversary of Enema of the State from Blink-182. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's got an anniversary, but that's a classic record. Yeah. So
their first one with Charles Barker on drums.
Yeah, that's right, man. So
and I actually saw Blink-182 on the tour for California. And that was with Matt Skiba in the band. That was my only time seeing Blink-182.
Nice. Yeah, I've never seen them. Hopefully soon. So people, we'll see you next time here on the couch for another episode of Is It That Bad? Thank you and goodbye.